Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures, and I've got another box of Conquest models. I got my Archimandrite, I'm pretty sure that's his name, all finished up here, so I figured it's time to treat myself and have some guys for him to boss around. So these are the Moroi. They are spooky ghost assassin things for the Old Dominion, which is also what our Archimandrite guy here is for. So these are like the very Romanesque looking dead dudes for Conquest. They can also be used to make Kheres miniatures. Okay. What do we got? Well, we got ourselves a QR code to check out the website, which I'll have a link to as well at the bottom. QR codes on both model types. Kheres look cooler because they've got the robes. I want to say they're more like a ranged magic flinging dude, whereas the Moroi are bladed, gonna stab you pointy guys. Here we have a nice example of the sprue layout. We'll take a look at that in a moment. Look at that. Ooh, spooky. You can see here he's got like his magic for the Kheres, blades for the Moroi, and then I like the cloak. I'm like, I'll make a couple with the bald head. I don't really like that style. I think they look way cooler with the robes. And I was thinking, you know, they're going to be like assassin types, well, with the blades and stuff. Why would they not have hoods? Hoods just make everything cooler. Maybe I'll paint like my Kheres ones, because I'm going to build both. If you haven't seen me, I've yet to build an entire box of Conquest models straight. They always end up being a mixture, but I like skirmish games anyway, so that's totally doable. You know, 6 and 6, 8 and 4, however we do it. But yeah, I'm going to end up building my Kheres painting them purple or something, and the Moroi are going to be in black. So here we have the bases, all nicely, neatly stacked. And then we get to the actual sprues themselves, of which we have enough to build 12 guys, and it looks to be like a lot of the other recent kits where we have 4 of the same sprue. Yes? Yes. I know I freaked out when I was building the Praetorians and I forgot how to count and made a fool of myself, but yeah. We will do that this time. So you'll notice that immediately my eyes and my worry is going to be, are these tattered strips of clothing going to be problematic? Hopefully not. Are those parts labeled? It doesn't seem like it, but they're also the same front, I think. Yeah, okay, I can see, look. These 3 parts all have the ground attached to them to match up at the back. I don't know, maybe it doesn't matter which is which. I know on some of the earlier Conquest models, they had specific body sections that would attach to each other, so it'll be curious to see. And so you can see here we've got a variety of hands with various knives of jagged, straight, curved, zigzag, serpent tongue, lightning bolt, and then we have a variety of heads down here. I count 4 of each. Fair enough. But we have 3 bodies, so there is going to be a little bit of repetition, but that's to be expected. You know, I'm not going to fault them for that. It looks like both bodies are going to use the incense urns hanging off on both sides. Okay. Fair enough. And then what is this? I guess that's where the other one attaches. I don't know. It doesn't seem super complex. I think the big difference is going to come down to that right hand and the head. That's what's going to make the big difference between your unit types. Or you could be obnoxious and give them the spell in one hand and the knife in the other, and hoods and no hoods, and that way you can just use them as both and, you know, be what they may when you need them. So I might try that too. Let's find out what I do with them. So sit tight and we'll see how they turn out. Alright, so we got a few of the Kheres troops here put together. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I had a real hassle trying to figure out how to put these together. So, first of all, getting the appropriate bodies, they weren't the most cooperative with me, but eventually we did figure them out. But the real hassle were these little sensors hanging off of them. And then there's an occasional little scrap of cloth that I had no idea where they're supposed to go. And eventually I just stopped caring and figured out, you know what, I'm going to find a spot where it fits and it looks okay, and we're going to call it a day with that. And I think that's probably the best way to handle this. So the way the hands work, the right hands have a little indentation on them. Let me grab one. See if I can show you here. No, that's a left hand. Here's the right one. See, there's a little indentation there, so you can tell that's going to go on the right arm. And then the body itself is going to have a little cavity where the arm plugs in on the left. Whether you want to get creative and start sticking things in your own spots is entirely possible, as always. I mean, they are your figures after all. So I went ahead and tried playing around. I like the whole spell flinging, floaty ghost undead thing here with the lightning bolts in their hands. And again, figuring out where everything was supposed to go was a bit of a challenge, but like I said, I eventually just stopped caring and rolled with it. And I mean, given the size of these things, I think they'd look really neat, not only obviously in Conquest, but I think in a lot of tabletop games where you're using, you know, spiritual night haunt type floaty undead things, I think these could be really fun to have hanging around. I mean, they would be hanging around. So those are the Kheres. I like them more just for the fact they have those cool little hoods. I started trying to build some basic Moroi, and I couldn't help myself. And you'll see what I mean here in a sec when I look for the bodies. The Moroi are basically the same thing, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, with the exception of the fact that they're not wearing any hoods. And what? Somebody got a little over-ambitious there. I mean, they're undead, right? I unfortunately couldn't help myself, and so a lot of mine ended up with extra arms. And I don't know why. Maybe just the fact that I have them. And like I said, I couldn't help myself. I really like the hoods. I think the hoods are a cooler look than the bald dead heads. Wow, that camera's not cooperating today. I mean, why not? The Bone Reapers get to have extra limbs. Why can't these guys? You know, why can't they have like a necromancer commanding them from beyond the grave? You know, through some kind of bizarre amalgamation of necromancy and ancient teachings, sticking them all back together. See, I mean, this is like more traditional 25mm. Here, let's grab an actual 25mm. See, these are big dudes. I think they would look quite impressive, you know, as revenants, wraiths, what have you. The Wargames Atlantic skeleton, if you wanted to use them for big, impressive bodyguard types. I mean, that's where my brain's going. And the crazy thing is, and I'm just kind of like going off in different tangents with these guys here, but that's okay, is you can actually fit them surprisingly on to the multi-unit bases. I was absolutely shocked. I didn't think that would be possible. I mean, they're going like every which direction. They got, you know, little loose bits here and there sticking everywhere. Some of them have too many arms, and yet they still work. So that says something about the engineering on Parabellum's part. Definitely a big thumbs up there. I do feel, though, when you have these dual kits, you are kind of limited in terms of how many parts are going to be available for each type. You know, unless you're going to get like weird like me and start mixing and matching, putting the heads on the wrong bodies, doing weird stuff, giving them too many limbs, goodies like that. Grabbing some of the other Old Dominion guys I have painted. Just a good excuse to show them off there. The Archimandrite and the Zilliarch seems to have escaped my grasp. That's because I'm looking at his back. Wow, they're not actually as big as these two, but then again, they've got really fancy headdresses, so maybe that's why they're so large. But I gotta say, you know, especially for the token undead faction so far with Conquest, I think these guys have a very unique look all throughout the faction. Gonna have to give me some of those bone golems to go with them eventually here. Let's grab some Conquest humans just to, okay, well they are big. Conquest humans are big as is, but even so, these are still fairly good sized. And I mean, for you Nighthaunt players, if you wanted something interesting, I bet you could stick these on 40mm bases and they'd look okay. Stick 2 or 3, call it a Spirit Swarm, be done with it. Works for me. I gotta say, they're also feeling a little bit more robust than some of the Nighthaunt kits. As we go off on a bit of a GW tangent there. So overall, an interesting kit. It's definitely visually a unique unit choice for the Old Dominion players. Not that they have a whole ton of units yet at this point, but you know what? Definitely another interesting piece to the puzzle. So, I don't know about you guys, but like I said, I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes out. Still don't have those cataphracts. Hopefully, one of these days, along with some of those golems. Maybe paint one up in ultramarine colors. Yeah, kid. Or do I? But definitely some fun stuff. If you haven't had a chance to check out Conquest, by all means, hit that link below. We'll have a link for you guys to check out. Take a look at the rules, which are free, I might add. And check out the extensive range of plastics and really nice resins that they have released thus far. Like our fancy schmancy matriarch queen, who's still, she's a big girl. Still one of my favorite ones. And the Wadroon, the more tribal faction of Conquest. But yeah, do take a look. Fun stuff. Looking forward to getting some of these painted, and hopefully we'll see them back here soon. A little paint slathered on them. Until then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye!